Hello, this is Terry Gregory and Ben Beach with Eagle Eye. We're here today to talk about inventory controls inside of the Eagle Eye system. Ben, we all know that the problem with inventory is where's all my materials? How much do I have? What do I need to order? And how do we tie all that together? And you've developed a pretty unique system where Eagle Eye resides the master repository of all the information. And then we look over to engineering solutions to update and consume those materials. But even more uniquely, the ability to add a new material over in the engineering system, and then it's synced and update inside of Eagle Eye. And that's pretty phenomenal. Can you give us a little example of that?
Sure, Terry. So inventory is taken care of through our widget menu here on the left-hand side. When you go to inventory, we're going to notice that right now, we have no inventory in the system at all. We've got Cabinet Vision open, so if we open up Cabinet Vision and we go to our material catalog, we'll see that there is inventory inside of our material catalog. We've got edge bandings, we've got board stock, and we've got other information in here as well. And so what our goal is initially is to grab that information from whatever your existing source is, and then take that information and put it into Eagle Eye to manage from there. And we've written a program here that interfaces with the Eagle Eye API and your Cabinet Vision database. And it grabs all of that information from Cabinet Vision and sucks it into Eagle Eye so that you can manage it. And then whenever you're ready, you can send it back to Cabinet Vision for your engineering team to work with from there.
This example that we're showing here is in Cabinet Vision, but I want to remind everyone that this is about consuming data, and whether that data comes from Cabinet Vision or another engineering source, or do we need to link into Production Coach to review material consumption. Cut-Write is another example. If we have data that tells us what the sheet stock is in a multitude of programs, we can retrieve that data and have it in the master repository of Eagle Eye, so then we can use it in purchasing. We know our lead times on materials, we know who our preferred vendor is, and we can electronically send out requests for quotes or a request for an order from the system without hesitation. So our goal is to have materials in stock or the custom materials for that specific job hit the day we need them and no earlier. If the delivery dates change through our scheduling system, the order dates for our vendors also automatically change. Is that correct, Ben?
That is correct. And our goal is you can merge multiple different sources into one. So you could take Cabinet Vision and Production Coach or Microelement Production Coach, merge the two material catalogs together, and then the system will be able to manage them there. Now, if you've got duplicate information in there, some of those SKUs may not match up and you may have to clean up some of that information, but you can import from multiple different locations and have one central database that has all of it in it.
Great. And you mentioned an interesting point. What happens when you find redundancy or errors whenever the SKU numbers of the material or the vendor numbers don't match exactly? Eagle Eye not only can identify it, it can flag you and say, wait a minute, we're fixing to run a project here. We want to order materials, and you have two material names with different product IDs. Which one do you want to use? So we identify the issues and make sure they're resolved so the process flows smoothly.
Yep, that's exactly correct. So now on the screen here, we're looking at one example of Cabinet Vision to Eagle Eye. And in this case, we have a switch. You can switch this to go from Eagle Eye to Cabinet Vision or from Cabinet Vision to Eagle Eye. And since we don't have existing inventory in Eagle Eye right now, we're going to go ahead and pull the database, the material database, from Cabinet Vision. We're going to insert that into Eagle Eye. So we're going to click this sync button. And once it completes, we'll be able to go into our inventory inside of Eagle Eye and see the exact copy of the database from Cabinet Vision. We've got a response saying, hey, everything's good to go. Let's go back and refresh our dashboard and take a look at our inventory and see what's going on. That's there. And we can see now we've got a bunch of categories on the left-hand side. We've got banding, and we've got board stock, and we've got Conestoga and all of the other categories. What's even more interesting is it's in the exact same order that is in Cabinet Vision's material catalog. So you'll see banding, board stock, Conestoga, closet. If we go into Eagle Eye, you'll see banding, board stock, Conestoga, closet. And it sorts out exactly the same way. So when you go here, you can look at banding and you can look at the first line and you can immediately recognize that's going to be edge banding, cherry, natural, unfinished.
Exactly. You know, something else that's interesting is when you look at consuming materials, you know, in an estimating mode with Eagle Eye hosting the master repository of materials, we use waste factors, industry standard waste factors, to consume an estimate and give a pretty good ideal. But after engineering has actually optimized or nested those materials, we reach right back into that solution. So now we're not looking at waste factors, we're looking at the actual sheet count out of an optimization or nest, so we know exactly what to order. So once again, no overages, no unders, just exactly what is needed for the project.
That's correct. And so now that we've got our sheet count and other information, we can go in and we can update this quantity. We can also update the description, we can update the SKU, we can change the unit of measurements. You can see the unit of measurements were actually pulled in directly from Cabinet Vision. So if we were to go in here and try and look at this, you'll see unit of issues per foot, each per foot. And if we were to go into Eagle Eye, it's per foot, each per foot. The blue lines are system variables in Cabinet Vision. So those are materials that Cabinet Vision itself created. And you may not see those inside of Cabinet Vision, but our system allows you to interact with those and look at them and at least understand that they are there. That allows you to log them against your bill of materials inside of your item list and other things of that nature.
Well, you know, that's pretty impressive, Ben. You know, the ability to hold the information in Eagle Eye and ping your engineering programs or even production coach for changes and modifications, and then alerts come up to say, hey, this is what's going on. Let's update the master. That way we always have that single source of truth in our ERP system that relays information over to the vendors, and then runs through the part management into production coach. So it just eliminates errors and confusion. Is that a fair assumption, Ben?
That is. And to kind of emphasize that point, as Eagle Eye being the master, we can see edge banding, cherry, natural, unfinished, style 4 here. But let's just say this is actually just style. There is no style 4 or anything else. If we save this and then we go into our system and we say, you know what, let's take from Eagle Eye and put it back into Cabinet Vision, we can go ahead and hit the sync button. Once we're done synchronizing this information from Eagle Eye into Cabinet Vision, you'll actually be able to see that directly in Cabinet Vision. And so now we've got the information successfully pulled from Eagle Eye and put it into Cabinet Vision. So if we go back into Cabinet Vision now and we refresh our banding catalog, you're actually going to see edge banding, cherry, natural, unfinished, style. There is no 4 anymore.
Makes sense. You know, another thing that a lot of people don't realize is why really having that material updated in the master over to engineering or even production coach is important, is because we offer flexibility even when you back up a stage and say, how do I want to estimate? If I create an estimate, I'm looking into Eagle Eye's materials and I'm creating an estimate with cost and availability. And then when I go engineer, I want to publish that stuff to engineering so the correct materials that I did my estimate in are there. So I don't have to worry about going into my engineering solution and say, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to build it out of 3/4 white melamine when the bid actually was 3/4 gray. So it updates the system automatically, eliminates those errors and confusion. Ben, thank you again for your time. And once again, just to recap, it's really about offering that single source of truth that affects all aspects of your company. If we change materials or add materials or change the price, change our vendors, everyone that needs to know knows it when they need to know it. And that's really a definition of a great ERP system.